I thought this footage was fake.
It's been white phosphor again used. We filmed.
And then they cut him off.
Very operating in very dangerous, very difficult circumstances.
That's not some small YouTube journalist just bullshitting on the air. That is the British Broadcasting Company cutting their own journalists off for outing the Israeli army's use of chemical weapons, white phosphorus. What makes this shit so dangerous is that it's light and it can ignite on virtually any substance, and assuming when you breathe it in, it doesn't give you respiratory problems, once this shit catches fire, it's almost impossible to put out. So when it touches your skin and it reacts to the oxygen so volatile, that's what happens, and it doesn't stop until it reaches your bone. And this is what the Israeli government is lacing with their munitions. It's kind of giving 2009 vibes because this shit's pretty much on repeat. I'm gonna go off script for a second. Like, hold on. I'm amazed still at how dumb all of you people are that are saying pray for Israel.
Breaking news overnight. Israel has ordered more than 1 million people in northern Gaza to evacuate the region in less than 24 hours. The unprecedented warning came in just before midnight last night. The United Nations says that is impossible.
Half of Gaza's population are children because most Palestinians don't ever make it past the age of 30 because the living conditions are so shitty. So let me get this straight as the defenders of Israel. You want 500,000 kids, mostly under the age of 13, to traverse 50 miles of concrete jungle that's covered in white powder that could set them on fire. You need them to jog that shit in less than a day. Do I have that right? Wait, I'm not done. This religious shit is so stupid. So hold on. You're telling me a book of fairy tales told you that land somebody else was living on belonged to you. But you can't read the book, like you can't read Hebrew, but this dude can, and he's telling you kids aren't collateral damage, and you're just like, meh, send the missiles over anyway, and you end up killing more kids, 3 times more kids, than the actual hostages that are captive.
لا صهيون يهود أنا يهود لا صهيون אני רוצה להיות יהודי כמו פעם כמו לפני 150 שנה שחיו פה בשלום בשמחה שכל הפלסטינים יחזרו לפה כולם יחזרו לכל המקומות.
Like, I'm looking at my comment section right now, and I'm pretty sure you guys would call me anti-Semitic just for saying that matzo ball soup doesn't taste good at this point. I mean, I personally think it's more anti-Semitic that you don't criticize a government for lying to the Jewish people about why it's shooting kids, and it took them 7 days to make any attempt to rescue the hostages, but it took them less than a day to fire a missile.
What I think is, it's important is that I'll start with a story. As a little girl, my family comes from the island of Puerto Rico. And I grew up visiting my family on the island of Vieques and communities on the island of Vieques, where the United States bombed its own territories, its own communities. And I would go to sleep as a little girl to the sound of US bombs detonating. Practice is what it was called at the time, practice. And when I saw those airstrikes that are supported with US funds, I could not help but wonder if our communities were practice for this. This is our business because we are playing a role in it. And the United States must acknowledge its role in the injustice and human rights violations of Palestinians. This is not about both sides. This is about an imbalance of power. If we're scared to stand up to the incarceration of children in Palestine, it's because maybe it'll force us to confront the incarceration of children here on our border. By standing up to the injustices there, it will prompt us to stand up to the injustices here. We have a responsibility. And if we have historically said and committed to a role as an honest broker, then we must fulfill that role. That means we have to be honest with ourselves, with what our aid supports. We have to be honest and ask ourselves questions like why we are using our veto power and the UN Security Council in preventing statements from being released about concerns for this violence alike. The President and many other figures this week stated that Israel has a right to self-defense, and this is a sentiment that is echoed across this body. But do Palestinians have a right to survive?
Hi, Columbia University student here. I just want to inform you about some of the stuff that's been happening at our school recently. Please keep watching. This is actually like so insane. Now, in the wake of everything that's been happening in the midst of Israel and Gaza, there's been a lot of tension, obviously, recently. Yesterday at school, October 12th, there was a protest held by a group of students called SJP, Students for Justice in Palestine. And there was a lot of counter-protesters also coming from another group called SSI, Students Supporting Israel. Here's an interview taken at the scene.
Excuse me, sir. We're with WKCR, or the college radio station. I was wondering if I could talk to you, interview you.
Sure.
What is your name, or how would you like to be identified?
I'm here to support the Jewish students here.
Yeah.
Okay? I work here. Okay? These people have no business being here now. I've emailed the president, the provost. They should be out here shutting down these mother... Okay?
And
End of story. Okay?
okay.
Good.
How are you affiliated with the university?
I'm an officer of administration.
Yeah.
I'm here on my own. I'm Jewish. Okay? I'm a Zionist. Okay? I hope every one of these people die. Okay? The provost should be out here now, shutting these people down. The president should be out here, shutting these people down. Columbia should be ashamed of itself.
How do you feel about campus safety? Do you feel safe walking around campus?
I work up in the bowels of Gotham, up by the George Washington Bridge at the medical center. Okay? It's nothing safe around here. Okay?
So this is a man who claims to be a staff member and officer of administration at the school, talking about how students should not be there rallying, protesting, demonstrating their First Amendment rights. And then he goes on to say, I hope every one of them die. I don't know his name. I just know that he is part of the administrative team at Columbia and he works at the Irving Medical Center. Now, I don't know about you, but I feel like this definitely probably goes against policy and is just blatantly calling for violence. Columbia University, you literally have a staff member who is calling for the death of your students. Do you understand? Now, I'm not here to make an argument for or against any group. You can definitely be against Hamas and be pro-Palestine. You can definitely be pro-Jew and anti-Zionist. However, Columbia University needs to do something with this staff member who is, once again, let me just remind you, calling for the death of students at the university. Now, this just came out today, so I'm sure nothing's happened yet, but I want to make sure that something does happen and that this doesn't get swept under the rug like a lot of other things that have happened at the university before. I want this to get so much attention that Columbia cannot ignore it. So this is where he works. If you want to just check it out, check out the website, email some people. And this is our new university president. So welcome. This is her first year. Here's what you got to deal with, babe. Make the right choice. You cannot sit here and listen to this and keep this person on your staff. This is literally a threat to the students. If a student were to say something like this, boom, they'd be out. This is a direct call to violence against the Columbia community. It is abhorrent, disgusting behavior, and something needs to be done. So anyways, we will not stay silent until something happens to this man. Because this is not somebody who I want to be learning under, and it's not somebody who I want my money that I'm paying, 80 grand per year, by the way, to go into his pocket. Bye. And I also want to make clear that the views that this man has do not represent the entirety of Jewish people around the world. So please do not start a culture war in my comment section because I know that's what's going to happen. This is not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to draw attention to what this man said regarding students at his university.
Very careful of what you say about Israel. Any believer going against Israel, you are making yourself an enemy against God.
First of all, Israelis and Palestinians worship the same God. the same God of the Abrahamic religions. It's just that because you are a Christian, you believe that present-day Israelis are the Israelites that are mentioned in the Bible, and that their land, Israel, is a holy land and the land that was promised to them by God. Now, I know you guys like the fairy tales in the Bible, but fact tells us otherwise. Present-day Israelis are not the Israelites that were mentioned in the Bible. They did not leave Egypt and travel through the Red Sea to that land in Israel. The Israelis we know today are from Europe. They are Ashkenazi Jews from Europe who went to Palestine and stole that land in 1948. That's when the Israel we know today was created. In 1948! They are on bloody stolen land. There is no difference between them and the white people in America who stole land from the Native Americans. There is no difference between them and the white settlers in Canada who stole land from the natives in Canada. There is no difference between them and the white people in Australia who stole land from the Aboriginals in Australia. They are bloody colonizers. There is no difference between them and the white people who took over South Africa. Darren puts it perfectly well when he calls these Europeans the global settler community.
Global settler community.
That's exactly what they are. But because some people would rather believe in the fairy tales that was documented in the Bible than the actual truth that is in front of them, we see them make videos like this talking about if you go against the Israelis, you are going against God. The fuck? I don't know who the chosen people of the God of the Bible is, and to be frank with you guys, I don't even bloody care. But the fact that this propaganda that the United Nations was able to cook up, propaganda being they were able to deceive the entire planet to believe that the people in Israel who are presently occupying stolen land are the people in the Bible, and we have Christian people who believe this. It's insane. It's a propaganda. I remember when I was younger and still a Christian, I used to hear my dad say things like, there is no nation on the face of this earth that can defeat Israel because the Israelis are God's chosen people. People want to save thousands of naira, dollars, shillings, cedis, whatever currency they are saving up to go down to that place. That place that was created in 1948, but they believe that place is a historical place that have probably been existing over 2,000 years ago. Like during Moses, right? That was before Jesus. So before 2,000 years ago, before Jesus, people believe that place had been there, Israel, because they believe in the fiction that is in the Bible. People are going there for pilgrimage. They consider that place to be a holy land, a land where thousands, if not millions of Palestinians have died on because a group of people just want to steal the land and make it theirs. That is the land that some of us, maybe not some, more than we need, amount of people consider that land to be holy. A land that if we put our ears to the ground and listen to that land speak, I'm not sure none of us want to hear what that land has to say. There is nothing holy about that land, but people go there for pilgrimage, to pray and expect prayers to be answered. And the fact that there are places there that you can go as a Christian to go look at things that are supposed to be evidence of Christ or Christianity, it's wild. It's wild. Like they basically made a place to match Bible stories. They basically made a place in real life in 1948 to match Bible stories. All of it is a big fucking lie. But this is what I will say. For those that believe the propaganda, for those that believe the lie, since you people want to protect your so-called God-chosen people so badly, since you people are in cohorts with the US and the UN, make una pack those people. Tell them to evacuate that stolen lands that they are occupying by force. And you people should go and look for somewhere in Europe to put them. I'm sure you people have space in Europe. Go and create a space if you not get. Maybe some people, they shift their house, or I don't know how you people want to do it, but shall create space in Europe for them to create their nation. Because this is, nah. But you know what really gets me about these people is the fact that you would think that after everything that this went through in Europe, being persecuted by their own people, that it got so bad that they had to flee Europe and look for a safe space. You would think that these people now, after they've gone through all of this, they would be, more soft and not want to do the same thing to another group of people. You would think that if nobody else understands human rights, they at least would understand human rights. You would think if nobody else can be as loving, they would be loving and accepting of people. But no, what did these people go on to do? They left Europe, traveled to another person's land, only for them to get there and go turn into exactly what they were running away from in Europe. only for them to get there and go be the ones that are committing crimes against humanity. To the owners, the true owners of the land, the true owners that have been on that land for hundreds of thousands of years. Some people legit don't hate oppression. They just want to be the one doing the oppressing.